If you thought Yu-Gi-Oh was going to get ultra fast with Infinite Forbidden and Fiendsmith, I'm here to tell you that it gets a lot worse. Today, big dog, I'm going to be showing you how a new TCG exclusive completely warps the game to something a lot different than Yu-Gi-Oh has ever seen. And it's extremely important that you know these combos because it changes how we will look at Yu-Gi-Oh forever. Let's go ahead and jump on in. All right, big dog, before I get into this video, I want to thank two of the top players in the world, both my mans Jib and Lund, for brewing these combos. They have spent so much time going over Infinite Forbidden. They actually even have a comprehensive spreadsheet, a guide on some of the best decks in Infinite Forbidden, giving you detailed combo pieces of everything you need to know. Now, I ain't gonna cap with you, big dog. This does cost money, but to be honest with you, with how much these dudes put in work for this spreadsheet and it's updating to get you optimally updated on the new strategies, I think it's totally worth it. I am not paid by them to say this. I just thought I would put that out there in case you wanted to know more about Infinite Forbidden. But yeah, big dog, there's actually two new TCG exclusive that will completely change our card game, and one of them is Necroquip Princess. Necroquip Princess is a level 6 Fiend Fusion monster with 2000 attack and 2000 defense, and it must be special summoned by sending one monster equipped with a monster card plus a Fiend monster card to the graveyard. It also says if a monster is sent from the hand to the graveyard to activate a card or effect, you can equip one of those monsters as an equipped spell that gives it 500 attack, or you can draw one card. This card is huge. When you pair it in combination with the Fiendsmith cards, it's actually a complete terror. It being level 6 allows you to be able to get into Beatrice, but there are also other properties of this card that makes it absolutely unfair that we'll talk about a little bit later. The other TCG exclusive is Aerial Air Eater. Now, this card is a level 6 Wind Fusion monster with 2100 attack and 2600 defense, and its fusion requirement is 2 Fiend monsters with the same attribute. If it's fusion summon, you can send one Fiend monster from your deck to the graveyard, and then if it's in your graveyard, you can banish 2 level 6 or higher Fiend monsters with the same attribute to special summon this card. I'm telling you, big dog, these two cards are incredibly powerful, and they change so much about two decks that are already expected to be some of the best available. I'm going to be showing you a couple of combos that involve these cards that will morph the way that you think and how you approach Yu-Gi-Oh when you're playing against these decks. Okay, big dog, so the very first combo is a 1-card combo for Yubel, and the end result is crazy. The only thing you're going to need is the Fiendsmith in your hand, which makes it a little bit more ridiculous. We'll start off by activating the Fiendsmith to be able to add Fiendsmith Tractus, and then Fiendsmith Tractus to be able to add Fabled Lori and discard it to our graveyard. That triggers the effect of Fabled Lori to summon itself to the side of the field, and since it's a light Fiend monster, you can use it for a link summon into Fiendsmith Requiem. I'm going to walk you through these cards just in case you don't know what they do, but the Fiendsmith engine is really important. They're a group of monsters that allow you to be able to link and fusion summon. All you have to do is get a light Fiend monster to your side of the field. If you guys were wondering why Moon of the Closed World was such an impactful card and why people were going crazy over this common, it's because it's an easy to access light Fiend monster. But yeah, anyways, we will use our Fiendsmith Requiem. It will tribute itself to summon another Fiendsmith from our deck, and then we'll activate the Fiendsmith monster in our graveyard to return the Lori to summon itself, and then we can use Fiendsmith Tractus to be able to fusion both of those monsters into Fiendsmith Lacrimosa. Now we'll use the effect of Lacrimosa to be able to special summon the Fiendsmith, and then we'll use both of those monsters to Fiendsmith Sequentia. Sequentia allows us to be able to fusion summon one Fiend fusion monster from our extra deck by shuffling materials from the graveyard back into the deck, which is crazy. We'll return both Fiendsmith and Requiem to be able to summon out Aerial Air Eater, and here is where the combo gets crazy. Aerial Air Eater says when this card is fusion summoned, you can send one Fiend monster from your deck to the graveyard. We'll use that effect to send Samsara D Lotus, and then we'll send Sequentia and Aerial Air Eater to the graveyard into Unchained Soul Lord Yama, which allows us to add an Unchained Soul Shavara. We'll then use the effect of Aerial Air Eater to banish the Fiendsmith and Lacrimosa, two monsters with the same attribute, to summon our Aerial Air Eater to our side of the field, and since it's a Fiend monster, we'll use it with the Unchained Soul Yama to make Unchained Soul of Rage. We'll then trigger the effect of Shavara to destroy Soul of Rage. That'll trigger the effect of both our Unchained Soul of Rage and our Unchained Soul Lord Yama. Soul of Rage allows us to add one Fiend monster from our graveyard to our hand, and Soul Lord Yama allows us to be able to special summon one Fiend monster from our hand or graveyard, and we could potentially destroy a card we control. We'll banish the Yama to be able to summon summon out Aerial Air Eater, and then we'll add Samsara D Lotus to our hand. Now finishing off, because we've summoned so many times, we can use Aerial Air Eater and Unchained Soul Shavara into an Xyz summon into DDD Wave King Caesar. Essentially, this entire combo will be protected by Nibiru the Primal Being, and while you can hand trap this combo line, there are still 4 other cards in the hand. This pretty much means that if the deck drew a starter during this time, it was 100% bait, just so they can follow up and normal summon the card that they need. And Nibiru the Primal Being has been pretty much useless against Yubel, but adding a Wave King Caesar to the mix only makes it worse. Well, then normal summon our Samsara D Lotus, because we never use that, and then use Samsara to be able to special summon Spirit of Yubel to get Nightmare, Pain to destroy Yubel to add Gruesome Grave Squirmer, which triggers the Spirit of Yubel to summon Yubel. We then summon out Gruesome Grave Squirmer and use the effect of Squirmer to destroy Yubel, and now we then link off the Terror Incarnate and the Grave Squirmer into a McCraker. Now we do need an additional card in our hand to use the effect of McCraker, but to be honest, it could be any given card. We'll discard that card from our hand to be able to special summon Unchained Soul of Rage, and then we will return Spirit of Yubel and Terror Incarnate back into our deck to be able to special summon Phantom Yubel to our side of the field. Finishing up, we'll use Gruesome Grave Squirmer to be able to summon out Yubel, and then we'll use Yubel's effect, its maintenance cost, to tribute McCraker, and then since we do have Yubel, we will summon Samsara D Lotus. With just one card, we have the ability to be able to turn a monster effect to destroy a Yubel monster from our hand or deck instead. We have Unchained Soul Rage, which can link off our opponent, a Samsara D Lotus, which turns an effect to destroy a Yubel instead, and a Wave King Caesar to be able to stop 2 special summons. On top of that, since we have Nightmare Pain on our side of the field, our opponent must attack Yubel, and any damage that gets inflicted is doubled to our opponent. I don't know about you guys, but it is completely unhinged how some cards from Infinite Forbidden completely changes the complexion of Yubel. It was already a pretty competitive deck. Now with just one card, it's looking pretty tier 0-esque if it wasn't for Snake Eyes getting support too. Now, when I'm telling you that hand traps are just as useful as only having a heater during the summer in Las Vegas, I genuinely mean that. In this particular combo, Lund is going to be showing us how Snake Eyes Ash and Diabell Star play around Nibiru. And don't worry guys, if you don't have Nibiru and you have a combo line to be able to stop both of these effects, the deck can still combo anyways, and I'll show you guys that too. So how this combo works is that you start off with Snake Eyes Ash, add Popular to your hand, and then use Popular's effect to summon itself. This is pretty standard for Snake Eyes players. Use Popular to be able to get Divine Temple of the Snake Eyes. The Temple then places the Snake Eyes Diabell Star, and now instead of using Ash effect, you link them both into an IP Masquerena. You'll then activate the effect of Popular to be able to place the Ash to your side of the field, and then Snake Eyes Diabell Star will place the Popular to be able to get the Diabell Star. We'll then use Diabell Star and IP Masquerena into a Selene, and then trigger the effect of Selene to be able to gain counters, which has 1, 2, 3, and then remove those counters to be able to summon Snake Eyes Diabell Star. The crazy thing about here is even if you were to Nibiru the Primal Being right here, you still have Black Witch to summon itself to the side of the field, set original Sinful Spoils, and then continue to play. But let's just say that they have the nib and they choose not to use it for some reason. We'll link those 2 monsters into an Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess, which insulates our entire combo from here, and then we'll summon out Diabell Star sending Snake Eyes, activate the effect to send original to send the Popular, summon out the Snake Eyes Oak will then activate its effect to be able to summon out Snake Eyes Ash, use the Diabell Star and the Snake Eyes Ash for a link summon into Moon of the Closed Sky, and this is where things get way different from your original Snake Eyes combo. Keep in mind that even monster effects aren't stopping us now because we have Appaloosa on the field, ban Appaloosa. But now that we have Moon Closed Sky, which is a light fiend monster, use it for a link into our Fiendsmith Requiem. Requiem then summons out the Fiendsmith from our deck to our field, then Requiem places itself to the Spell and Trap card zone, Snake Eyes Oak sends itself and the Requiem to the graveyard to summon out Flame Beurge, and now we're going to use the Fiendsmith and the Flame Beurge into a summon of Fiendsmith Sequentia, activate Flame Beurge to summon Oak and Popular, then activate Sequentia, return Moon of the Closed Sky and Requiem as well as the Fiendsmith to be able to summon out the new Fiendsmith DS Iron. Now in case you guys didn't know, this card says you can negate the effects of a number of face-up cards up to the total link ratings of link monsters equipped to this card until the end of this turn. Evenly Matched is no longer a good card against this deck. Then if it's sent to the graveyard, you can shuffle one other light fiend monster from your graveyard into the deck, target one card on the field and send it to the graveyard. A pretty easy to get to Omni negation. Who would have guessed, guys? It's almost like Baron never left. Use Sequentia Popular into a summon of Promethean Princess. Now Princess brings out the Snake Eyes Flame Beurge back to our field. Flame Beurge places the IP, and then you link into a Solomon Great Raging Phoenix, and then into a World Sea Dragon Zelantas, which is now co-linked by Appaloosa. So even if somehow you were able to summon a big monster to the side of the field without getting negated. Z-Lances can destroy it. We still have the effect of Flame Beurge to summon IP Masquerena. We have Des Irae to be able to negate cards on the field. And we also have Apollousa of the Goddess, which, by the way, Sequentia can equip itself to DS Irae, if you were wondering. It just goes to show how ridiculous this deck can get. But I think one of the biggest things to talk about is how players were using 2 effect negations, cards like Imperm and Effect Veiler, to be able to stop combos like this, and how they're completely useless now thanks to Infinite Forbidden and the new cards. All right, big dogs, last combo. The only thing you need is Snake Eyes Ash, Diabellstar the Black Witch, and a card to discard with Diabellstar. Doesn't matter what it is. This particular combo plays through 2 hand traps. Seriously. Infinite Impermanence, Ghost Mourner, Effect Veiler, a weirdly timed Ash. This stops all of that. And it pretty much means that hand traps are essentially dead coming into this format unless you don't want to be FTK'd by gimmick puppets. But let me go ahead and show you exactly what I'm talking about. And again, if you guys want to see more combos, a detailed spreadsheet, they have that. I will link the information that you need to get in contact with them or buy the spreadsheet down below. All right, so we're going to start off here with Snake Eyes Ash, which will get negated by an opponent's Effect Veiler, and then we'll discard Ash to summon Diabellstar, which will also get negated by an Imperm. From here, we'll use both of those monsters for a link into Moon of the Closed Sky, which means you pretty much just threw. You use Moon of the Closed Sky into Fiendsmith Requiem to be able to summon out the Fiendsmith, then activate the effect of Requiem to place itself into the Spell and Trap card zone. From here, you can go ahead and summon out the new monster, Necroquip Princess, which was a Fiend monster equipped with a monster card. We will then activate the effect of the Fiendsmith. We'll return the Requiem to summon the Fiendsmith to our side of the field, and then we'll Exceed summon into Beatrice, Lady of the Eternal. Lady of the Eternal will send the Fiendsmith to send original Sinful Spoil Snake Eye, then we'll activate original to be able to place Poplar into the hand, and then we'll be able to place the Diabellstar back to the bottom of the deck. Trigger the effect of Poplar to summon itself, and then Poplar will activate its effect to get Divine Temple. Divine Temple will place Snake Eye's Diabellstar to the Spell and Trap card zone. Then we will link off the Poplar and our Beatrice into IP Masquerena. Diabellstar will summon itself, link off the IP and the Diabellstar into a Promethean Princess. Promethean Princess brings back Snake Eyes Ash, and then Ash will send itself and the Poplar to the graveyard to summon out Oak. Oak will then activate its effect to summon out Poplar, then use its other effect to send itself and Promethean to summon out Flame Beurge, and now Flame Beurge will use its effect to place IP Masquerena. We'll then finish off by using the Flame Beurge and the Poplar into a link summon into Nightmare Phoenix. We'll trigger the effect of Flame Beurge and Poplar to be able to summon out Oak, as well as the Snake Eyes Ash, getting the Flame Beurge into the Spell and Trap card zone, and then we'll link off all of those monsters into a 3 negation Apollousa of the Goddess. Now, this may not seem by much, but keep in mind, you just hand looped your opponent for 2, which means that they'll start off their turn with 4 cards in hand. And you also have a 3 negation Apollousa of the Goddess. Divine Temple will be able to summon out Flame Beurge to your side of the field when they summon a card, and Flame Beurge can summon out IP Masquerena, and you have a Promethean Princess in graveyard. This pretty much sums up that hand traps may just be completely useless going into Infinite Forbidden, and has only made the strongest decks in the game a lot stronger. And with Konami confirming that there will be no ban list into the end of August, I think that Yu-Gi-Oh will be a lot different than what it was before coming into the Infinite Forbidden phase. Now, as you guys know, I am not the guy to say that Yu-Gi-Oh is completely over, though I may mislead a little bit with my thumbnails to get you to click, to get you the information you need. But I do think that Yu-Gi-Oh is taking a step in a different direction that a lot of players may not like. I want to know what you guys think about these current combos and all of these things that are going on. I think personally that this takes up a lot of space inside of your deck, but to be honest, if you're making indefensible combos, does it really matter? I definitely have a lot more to talk about a Konami announcement in a later video, but until then, I hope you guys can enjoy these videos, so I catch you on the next one.